Anti-Trump protesters have launched a petition calling for the police ban on marches through Whitehall to be overturned. The petition has been signed almost 5,000 times so far. Police say there will be room for several thousand people to demonstrate, but they refuse to give permission to march near number 10. Well, for more on all of this, I'm now joined by a representative of the People's Assembly, John Rees. John, so what will you be doing when Trump is visiting the UK?
Well, I'll be doing my very best to make sure that there's the most effective protest possible. This man is a racist, a sexist, somebody who has set himself up in opposition to the interests of working people in America and globally. He's a dangerous figure, and if there is a single figure in the world that deserves a political protest, it's this man.
And according to the polls, though, not many people see it, well, not everyone see it your way. Some people want Trump to come here. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, there's some people who will say he's a head of state, he should be welcomed no matter who he is, that it's about the relationship with America, not about the relationship with the man. And I guess those views are to be taken seriously.
But that's true, isn't it?
Well, as I say, they're to be taken seriously, but they're wrong. This is a dangerous politician in charge of the most powerful military apparatus in the world, still the most powerful economy in the world, who's capable of doing enormous damage and has done enormous damage already to international affairs. Not to protest against the racism, not to protest against the sexism, that would be a very, very grave mistake and an abrogation of our own democratic culture, an abrogation of our own democratic right to insist that the world can be better than Donald Trump.
Well, and you will have that democratic right to protest, won't you?
Not if the police have their way, no. They're attempting to limit precisely that right. It's not an effective protest to say you can't go near the place where the person that you're protesting against is meeting our government. It's not a free and democratic society where the police decide how many people will be allowed to protest. These are unacceptable limitations on effective protest.
So not a fair compromise, bear in mind thousands of people are intending to come to central London and say, yes, you've got plenty of space to do it, but there are certain areas where you simply can't.
No, I don't think that we should be told by the police, by this government, and actually I imagine in consultation with the American government and the security services in the United States, exactly how many people or exactly where we're allowed to protest. We should be allowed to protest effectively and close to the place where the people that we're protesting against are actually meeting.
Democratically elected, of course, in the United States. Is this not a snub to the American people?
No, not at all. I think there will be very many American people actually on the protest. And of course, we know that in raw numbers, the majority of Americans did not vote for Donald Trump. It's only because of the way that those figures break down in the electoral process that he's president at all. So, no, it's not America. It's not anti-American at all. Many of the political heroes of people on that demonstration, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, those are the great Americans that we all venerate.
But you may not be able to tangentially change anything as such, but symbolically what you're doing is pretty important. And yet it's very, very important, isn't it, that we recognise the fact that the US is our closest ally, not just in terms of security, but also in trade. And don't we need to have that very special relationship, particularly in terms of what's going on with Brexit?
Well, it's an important point about the trade, and it's an important moment to protest about the kind of trade that Donald Trump has in mind. I don't think many people in this country really want chlorinated chicken on their dinner table. I don't think they want the privatisation of the National Health Service, and that's the kind of trade that Donald Trump's got in mind.
What about security? Very, very important ally in that respect.
Well, our relationship with the United States has made this country less secure. The Afghan war, the Iraq war, the Libyan adventure has made this society more prey to international terrorism, less secure than it was before. The truth of the matter is we're shackled to a state which is addicted to war. It keeps dragging us into those states willingly on the part of the Blair government and so forth, willingly dragged into those conflicts. They cost an enormous amount of blood and an enormous amount of money. No, it's not a special relationship, it's a dangerous relationship.
Many, of course, will applaud what you're doing, but really will it have any effect? Mr. Trump probably won't even see you, as we've just been discussing the way the police are allowing you to demonstrate. The visit will go on, he will go on as well. So will you really achieve anything by this protest?
Well, of course, the last time Donald Trump was here, the protests were so large that they excluded him from central London, much to his own annoyance, as he took to Twitter to tell everybody. And I believe that does send a signal. when the most powerful president in the world can't set foot in the most diverse capital in the world, I think that sends a message. It sends a message that people in this country, working people in this country, black people in this country, women in this country, don't want a president with the kind of values that Donald Trump has.